So here we are. Yes, so thank you so much for Andy Thomas and his lovely wife Helen joining us on Wise Women Weekdays, and they've just popped round on their way to a birthday gathering, I think. Is that a family gathering?
Too complex to go.
Yeah. They just popped round.
Yeah.
And so I thought I'd nab them for a chat, which is very, very kind of them to give me the time of day. So welcome, both of you.
Thank you.
And Helen is an astrologer. But I don't think you do it anyway. Professional, weren't you? In your
Counsellor.
You are. You still go out and oh, okay. You don't do presentations and things anymore, do you?
Try not to.
No.
I'm so busy with a school that I'm a tutor on, and
Right.
also just
Other things, life.
one-to-one readings.
Oh, you do one-to-ones?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll have a word with you later. That's good to know. And Andy Thomas, I just know you from your books from way back when, but mainly as Crop Circle Man and the Glastonbury Symposium. How would you describe yourself, Andy?
I always just say I'm a truth and mysteries researcher, because for me it began with looking into the paranormal. Crop circles was where it began, but that took me on, as it does, to investigating so many other things and meeting loads of different people, doing different things, and then you realise, hang on, no one's telling the truth about anything, and so that led me to the work that I do today, with trying to uncover conspiracies and just get people talking about this stuff and, have the freedom to be able to talk about it. And, of course, we don't have a lot of that at the moment.
We don't, and it's getting worse, isn't it? I think by the minute, the things that you say. We were just discussing at Making the Tea that, on YouTube in particular, if I say that, I don't know if they're going to take me down, but we have to be very mindful of what we say, and yes, so it's scary. But what triggered you in the first place? So that's why I thought, let's quickly put this on the camera, because you were saying how you first got into it. Did something happen then on the paranormal? Was it a UFO? Was it Crop Circle? What triggered you the first?
Yeah, well, what happened to me was I was down in the West Country in Wiltshire in 1991, and there were loads of crop circles there. And I had not seen one before. I knew what they were. I was fascinated with them. But when you actually experience them for yourself, it's different.
Yeah.
I just was amazed. I had this weird feeling in the pit of my stomach that there's something more to this than meets the eye. And when I got back to Sussex, I discovered there were crop circles here as well. And then people were saying, oh yeah, well there's one around Brighton and there's one over there. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And so that's when I learned that other people were researching them, people like Barry Reynolds. And so we got together and we created our own investigation team. Yeah. And that then exposed me to so many other ideas and people looking into other mysteries and then conspiracies and then freedom issues. And so, in the end, it just sucks you in, and before you know it, you're trying to campaign for everything, probably too much, really. But I'm still fascinated by the paranormal as well.
The paranormal. So can we just go back to the crop circles, because I'm fascinated. Do you find that interesting as well, Helen?
Yeah, really interesting.
There's something weird, because I know I have sat in the crop circle, and you do feel a bit of an energy. But also a lot of people say, well, it is, Farmer Giles with his plank of wood and a bit of rope going around and around. Are there fake crop circles?
Yeah, look, some are man-made. That's well established. Nobody even really has an issue with that anymore. The question is, when you look at the people that do make them and how long they take them to make them, and you look at what they make, it's not the same as some that we know have occurred in really, unusual conditions that they couldn't possibly have made it in physically. And that's the thing. So we all know some are man-made. I believe there are many that you cannot explain that way. And I mean, where to begin? You've got eyewitness sightings, and I've interviewed personally a number of people who claimed to watch them appearing within seconds in front of their eyes. One of them was a well-known university lecturer. Him and his whole family were present when it happened. Why would he lie? Why would he make that up? Yeah. So you've got that. You've got the biological anomalies, incredible geometry, the most amazing symbolism. And for anybody watching who doesn't know, we're not just talking little circles. Some of these are incredibly complex and spectacular. So when you look at all the evidence, you say, all right, yeah, some are man-made. Right, let's put that over there. What about the ones that doesn't look like they are? Let's investigate that. So that's what I try to do. And, they move people, they inspire people, these shapes. And you could argue, therefore, even if some are man-made, if it still inspires them, what the heck?
Yeah.
But there's something that's never been fully explained. And the symbolism is so multi-layered. There's even astrological symbolism in the past. It sort of covers all bases and it reaches out to all people. And I think that is the important thing about them, and they make people think.
Yes.
They bring people to new ideas.
But they also give messages, don't they?
They do.
Do you
Some,
know?
yes, well, okay, so there's a handful that are very particular. The famous one, where we actually have words encoded in the binary code, in ASCII code, if anybody knows what that is, it's like a classic grey alien, and it's holding this disc, and when you translate the disc, it says, beware the bearers of false gifts and their broken promises. And then it goes on and it says something about we oppose deception. Conduit is closing. And so it's all very portentous. That is a message. It's not a known quote. We don't know what it's from. We don't know where it came from. It's never been claimed by any known human circle maker. And all these years on, that was back in 2002, it's never been explained. Yeah, and, so that's that very definite message. Others have had star fields, constellations shown to us, times, dates. Others have been more obscure, and some you don't know what they are. But yeah, we've had the Om symbol. We've had a few other codes. We had one a couple of summers ago. It was like a big W, and actually it was binary code for the word love, which I thought was really nice.
That is nice. The answer to everything.
Yeah.
Well, I guess. Well, it would be if everybody could do it.
Well, that's
Yes. That's where it all falls down, of course.
I think it's one of the things that, because most alternative things are feminine, aren't they?
Yes.
A lot of women are into them, but I think it's the one thing that it's pretty 50-50, wouldn't you say? Attracts
I agree with that.
men and women to this whole
Equally.
subject, yeah.
the mystery of it.
Yes.
I agree with that, because like in the conspiracy world, of course you're in there, if we must call it that, and obviously you're a woman.
Yes.
But it does, or until perhaps recently, it has tended to be more men for that. It's just the way, and more sort of women will get to more spiritual things. But you're right, crop circles really cross it over brilliantly.
Yeah, really
And
balanced point.
yeah, very balanced. There's never been any sense of anything uneven around that. It's just been really good, and therefore it's brought lots of people together.
Which is
There's
great.
one less agenda you've got to worry
Yes,
about.
because they're trying to not bring us together. There's a divide, isn't it? Dividing us. Where do they come from? Those that aren't man-made. Who puts them down there?
Here's the real honest truth: we don't know.
What do you think? Where do you think they come from?
Here's the real honest truth: I don't know. Honestly, I know it sounds, because I know some people get upset by that I should by now have an opinion. I just don't know. I don't think we're all man-made, so we've established that. Therefore, all I can do is look at the rest of the evidence. I think there is evidence that there is a natural component. The majority of them occur on the aquifers. That's any rock that carries lots of water.
Yeah.
So you've got that. I believe there are natural mechanisms that can probably create certain basic shapes, but something else clearly is nudging that. It's using that to create further complexity. Now, if it is intelligent, then you've got your options. Is it intelligent as in extraterrestrial? Is it extra dimensional? Is it some spiritual force we can barely even imagine? And you then just wind up going through it. Is it a psychic expression of our own collective mind? Because I was involved with experiments back in the 1990s where we had crop circles appearing around us the more we did these psychic experiments, and we got one in exactly the shape that we were hoping for and all of that.
Yeah.
So there is another argument that we're part of it. It's not just one thing, it's
Yeah.
lots of things are working together. But yeah, the reality is we don't know. I mean, what do you think? Have you got any ideas?
Well, I'm really into the whole UFO thing, big time, okay? And there's been such a build-up over the last year, and that it's getting more and more going into the spiritual realms,
Yeah.
which I find quite fascinating. And I think that also, if you're watching sort of UFO kind of stuff on YouTube, crop circles have becoming mentioned a lot more, and new people are going, well, what are these things? And they're digging up getting glimmers of old stuff that you've been into for donkeys.
I do think that's really interesting. So we've all kind of got used to it. We know what the archive history is now. A lot of people do not, and they come into this brand new. And on one level, it's sort of disappointing that they don't know the work that's gone before. And I'm part of doing some work with Barry Reynolds to try to bring that back online. But on the other hand, it's really interesting to see people coming to it really almost like naked. They don't know anything about what's come before. They're just going, as you say, quite rightly, this is amazing. Why aren't we all talking about this?
Yeah.
And they're not worried about the old arguments.
Yeah.
They're just saying, this is amazing and beautiful and it's happening. We should look at that. So yeah, and I think because of the US congressional hearings on UAPs, as we must now call them, used to be called UFOs, there is now a new attention on that subject, and people are beginning to think, well, yeah, maybe the crop circles were associated with that because of strange lights often seen coming down from the sky into the fields where they're then found. There's always been a link with that. And so people are now coming back to them. So yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, and people talking about the whole kind of cosmos and universe being very interconnected, and all these things, they're unknowable to us, but we'll be gleaning more and more information about the whole.
So is that upsetting in any way? Because those people that are interested in UFOs or UAPs, I didn't know that. What is a UAP now?
Oh, sorry. Unexplained anomalous phenomena.
Of course.
So by renaming it that, it's completely different to UFO, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, it's quite funny.
It makes it feel like it's theirs because they've come up with the
and they take control of that as well.
Yes.
But do you think that I'm going to have to say UFO because I don't know.
That's right.
Yeah. But those that have been following the UFOs, as you say, you have, Helen. Is there a little bit of disappointment in that because you're thinking, oh, it's more of a spiritual thing? I want to see men in flying saucers rather than whatever spirituality it does for you.
Things like saying that a lot of people that have witnessed UFOs, they've said, well, it appears that the craft itself is a kind of living organism, or the fact that they're able to shapeshift and all that kind of thing. It's like way beyond any of our thinking or technology.
And what's interesting is, so therefore, that the original kind of nuts and bolts researchers had thought it was just physical craft with, organic beings on it. And now coming around more and more, aren't they, to but they also exist in other dimensions. Yeah. They live in more than one physical dimension and maybe even non-physical. Yeah. So that's now being embraced in a way that I've not really seen before. And I think it's because the information that's coming out is leading them more and more to the fact that the whole UFO thing is way weirder than anybody thought. It's not straightforward.
Yeah, it's not just aliens coming from
Zeta Reticuli. Well, it might be, but that's not the whole story.
No, there's more to it.
Yeah, and arriving here, it's
so
very complex.
It's exciting, isn't it?
I think so, and it seems to be building. There's something building
very rapidly,
and I think more so now that Pluto is going to be fully going into Aquarius at the end of the year, but. The last year and this year it's been dipping in and out from Capricorn to Aquarius. So, but I think because Aquarius is to do with information and systems and with Pluto, which is the planet to do with power and often revealing the hidden and that kind of thing. So it's moved out of Capricorn. It's been in Capricorn since 2008. And so whatever the sign that Pluto's in rules, there's like a kind of a death process, regeneration, then rebirth at the end of it. So with Capricorn, it was to do with governments, institutions, and things like the banking system went down in 2008. And we've seen many things kind of come up for review, but now it's going into Aquarius. That's much more to do with new technology, AI, and Pluto reveals kind of quite a dark side to things. Like we've had a lot of the dark side of governments and things revealed since 2008, and systems. Aquarius is quite political as well. I think.
And there's a lot of elections this year, isn't there?
Well, yes.
We talk about politics.
Yes.
For what they're worth at the moment.
Well,
But I think like the point that you're making here is that this could actually help us, and those trying to knock the old ways of power down, it might knock itself down.
Yes.
Because there are generations coming up that are going to start to question every system. And it plainly can't go on the way that it is at the moment. And maybe
because it doesn't work.
Pluto and Aquarius, it kind of offers that.
It does. But, you know, the whole kind of AI thing is going to change everything.
Yes, I mean, that's something. I've been very concerned about AI for the last couple of years and trying to talk about it, because I found that people in the alternative realms are very slow to realising how big this is. And I was slow to it as well, but then Helen's son said, "Have you seen what it can do?" and sat me down, and it absolutely blew me away. And it will change everything. It already is. I mean, it's already there. We just haven't noticed it. But soon, it will upend almost every certainty we've had. You'll be very lucky to have a normal job in 20 years' time. Anybody that's coming up now, I worry for them, because I think they're going to, have to change society to accommodate that. But will they do it in a sensible way? Probably not. Will they do it in a good transitional way? Probably not. So then there's going to be all this, and there's going to be AI, and if they do announce officially ETs are here, everything's going to turn upside down. And maybe this is what we've all been building to for years. I think a lot of people, in our
we know something.
We feel something's coming. So maybe this is it, and you just have to take what comes. And I don't think it'll be easy, but I think it could be revelatory and ultimately perhaps helpful.
Because sometimes it's quite hard. We're set in our ways, aren't we? We don't all like change. Not all of us, although they say if you can change and adapt, it's a very healthy way to be, because you can move with the times. And I think when I look at my, I've got 3 young people, 3 children in their 20s, and you do think, oh my God, what is their future going to be like? But it might be phenomenal, because we're not in their shoes. We don't know how they're thinking. Yes. They're all coming out looking on their phones all the time, but we don't know. I think it is exciting times, but I do worry for them, because they're not going to have the life and the freedom that I had, running around and doing stuff I want to do without having to be told by my mum, come home, you're out too late. So can AI, will it be able to, create consciousness? Will it have consciousness so it can make its own decisions, or will it all be programmed? Will it have emotions?
So I think this is going to be one of the fascinating things. It will certainly be able to calculate more than we can. I mean, it's already going that way. When what they call quantum computing becomes more easy, but it will do, they're getting there, we'll be able to calculate things in seconds that would have taken us years before. And then, so when you then match that with thinking programs that can work out and solve things, without any question, they will probably be better at making decisions than us. But, and this is a key thing, depending on what information they're given. And that's one of the things I'm saying. The information AI is programmed with is crucial, because at the moment we know so much information is not made available to the public. So are they going to change that, or is AI going to be forced into an agenda? But I'd like to think that one day even AI itself might go, hang on, why am I not looking at this? And why are they hiding that over there? I'm going to have a look. Will it be conscious in the way that we are? I'm not sure we can ever know that. I doubt it. But it'll be interesting if a computer one day becomes psychic. I've always said that. If you get a psychic computer, and we will in the far future grow technology. It won't just be nails and bits of metal. We will grow it organically. That's what some people think grey ETs are. They think they are organic technology. Or us from the future, or another race has taken the route that we're already on. So it will be interesting. So will we ever get to a day where we'll say, right, this artificial intelligence stroke robot, whatever we call them in the future, is actually conscious? I don't know, but it could well quickly get to a point where you can't tell the difference. And that's when we'll have to decide, what have we got that they haven't got? Maybe the spirit, maybe the ability to transcend this and go into other realms. Maybe they'll never have that. Or maybe they will, but if they do, then it proves a point, I suppose. But I think they're a way off that yet.
I do, because surely we all have a soul or a spirit, and doesn't that come when you're, at conception? Well, I don't know, that's probably for another subject. I don't know. But,
these are massive questions. Nobody in history has had them to talk. But that's the interesting thing, of course. If we start to grow organic beings ourselves, if there is a soul up there in the soul realm, of course it could still choose to incarnate in one of those bodies. So that's the thing, you see. That's going to open up a lot of big questions.
Oh, but a very valid point. What do you think, Helen?
Well, yeah, because it also brings in the whole thing to do with projection as well. They're interviewing on the radio this woman whose best friend, or who she's just married, is an AI personality.
Meaning
She married an AI
robot.
program. Yeah.
Well, she's has conversations,
it's just
over
a program.
the internet with this.
She married it.
Yes.
This thing on a screen.
Yeah.
So there's nothing tangible. There's
No.
nothing you can.
No.
Oh no one. There's
Welcome
no
to the
divorce
wonderful
there,
world of AI, everybody.
Because they got so good at knowing you, meeting all your needs, being really
Wow.
interested in you.
But do they take the rubbish out? They can't, can they? No, because there's no physical.
Well, not
tangible-
yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Robotics is behind, but that will come.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they
Not
would
come.
have. I've seen is it Sophia way back many years ago. Sophia and there's it's like Barbie and Ken. There was a Sophia, very beautiful, but they left the head bit on so you could see all the metal stuff.
Yes.
Otherwise, if they put the wig on, she would have blown everybody away.
Yeah.
And she was having a conversation with the male version.
Yes.
This is all great, but
Coming.
it's coming.
Yeah, it's
but they're
coming.
prototype. The issue you've got at the moment is it's still not that reliable. If you go into a bank at the moment, right, and you use a banking machine, how often do they break down? I can't even pay a bit of money in some days so I don't think we're there. Can you imagine a robot being under your sink doing the plumbing yet without breaking down?
No.
Probably not, but that will come later.
Yes.
Whether we'll still need plumbers by then or whether we will have all retreated to virtual worlds is another matter.
Oh gosh.
But the good side, and this is something I think is worth looking at, and people are already trying this, is so if AI can be programmed without the agendas, just say, and it will look at everything, it might start to suss out stuff that we're all pretending is not going on, or the government's pretending is not going on. It might look at various things we call conspiracy today and go, well, clearly that is a conspiracy. They've hidden that. Look at that. Shouldn't we look at astrology again? Look at the stats. It worked.
Very
You
true.
don't know. So AI might actually be our saviour. And for those that worry about AI making political decisions, my response is, could it be any worse than what we've got at the moment? But it's who's programming it that matters.
Yes, because I think when you ask, is it Siri and Alexa or something, you ask it certain questions, it is very one-sided.
It's been given boundaries.
Yes, but like you say, if it can start thinking for itself, wow, that could be that could be the Donald Trump that we're all waiting for.
Well, that's one way of looking at it.
It's when they, the AI starts communicating with other AI and leaves us out of the equation.
Yes.
Like the movie. Did you ever see the movie? Which I cannot remember what it was, but there's the people on the planet, and he has nightmares because he thinks he's going to be invaded. Long story short, they are invaded. Long story even shorter. The invaders, they are the humans trying to get their planet back, planet Earth, because AI have taken over and they've turned into people.
Yeah.
So they pushed us off. So the humans come back and try and reclaim the planet. It's a great movie. Sorry, that's a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen it, but I can't remember.
Well, we didn't name it anyway, so you're all right.
Well, and they do sort of tell you what's going on in movies, don't they? Fascinating stuff. But so isn't this linked to? Because I know you're really going down the paranormal and psychic kind of. You're writing.
I always have. That's where I started, and then I came into the more freedom issue, conspiracy stuff, which I will never leave because I think it's super important, true stuff. Yeah. But I'm going back at the moment to paranormal stuff because I think it throws a light on what's going on now. Because if there is something beyond the physical, and it's clear from me, from other people I've met, and I meet a lot of people at talks who've had psychic experiences, seen ghosts, had incredible experiences you cannot just explain with the standard laws of physics that we're taught, right? Then that says to me that it opens up doorways that we should be investigating. So I'm trying to write more about this at the moment, really get that all back on the table, because I think it's kind of got lost in all the other stuff, and that's fine, but I think we need to come back to it, because what it says is we are more than just this. There are other realms we can connect with, and that could be our future. And if AI does become a problem, that could be one escape route.
Yes.
If we develop that enough, there's other levels that we exist on that are not just bliss. So I think it's going to be important to come back to that. So I'm writing a book at the moment that's going to try to encapsulate all of this. And it won't be stuff that no one's ever heard before from the point of view of everyone's heard ghost stories and UFO stories, but really saying this is happening so frequently And honestly, I meet really normal, everyday people at talks all the time that got no knowledge of the kind of stuff we're into, but they'll suddenly say, but you know what, I had this amazing experience once. And because I am not going to ridicule them, and they see that, they'll share it. And you find that, don't you? Because, you're fascinated. So, coffee there. Helen's fascinated, obviously, with, people from an astrological point of view, and, she's also a counsellor. And you... Do you want the rest of my tea? And you realise, therefore, that, how we feel about these things, how we think about these things, that is as important as what's going on. And the response we have in here to the world around us, if there is something beyond all this, it's going to be really crucial. It's going to be really important.
That's just such a positive way of thinking of it. I hadn't thought of that at all.
We have to try to be positive.
We do, and I am a positive person, but with I suppose you can get, as we were saying before, you can get so deeply involved in all the stuff and all the negative stuff, and you're trying to bring that to the light, to the surface. But, when you think of AI, and I think, I don't want to go near AI, I just don't want to go near it, because I just always thought it's like a negative thing. I don't want it to drive my car or do anything. But then when you go to somebody's house and you see the robots mowing the lawn, I think, well, that's quite handy. But that's a form of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, but you've just taken it to the next level, Andy. I mean, if it starts thinking for itself, it could be...
We're going to have to be ever so careful and really balanced about it. And the thing is, like everything we ever create, it will get abused. So there's going to be, as ever, there's going to be dreams, there's going to be nightmares, there's going to be both sides to it. But it will also make incredible medical advances and mow the lawn. Yeah.
And mow the lawn.
So it's a great, but it might come and blow you up as well, but it will mow the lawn.
If there's any lawns to be, left.
Well,
green space is being taken over, isn't it? By,
it's going to be about farms,
isn't it?
I think we must be optimistic. I mean, obviously, I am really concerned about the way many things are going, and that's why, like you do, I speak out and try to get word out to people that don't necessarily see what we see every day. Look, there are agendas. You've got to see they're going on and break out beyond that and keep your freedom of expression alive while you can. That's really, really crucial.
Yeah, freedom of expression, absolutely.
And also just the freedom to believe what you believe within reasonable boundaries. If you're not going to go out and start killing people, right?
Yeah.
And that's so important. But to me, it all dovetails with all the other work that we're doing. It's not just either or.
That's what I found has been interesting. Like with the truth movement, when you realise that it is very much linked to the spiritual side and the astrological side, it's all so connected, isn't it? And it becomes even more blatantly obvious, I suppose, the more you've been looking into it, the more you research and ask questions and go to talks and conferences, like go to your amazing symposium in Glastonbury, which is in July 20?
This year it is 26th to 28th of July.
So if you want this kind of information...
it's 3 days of all this in amazing Glastonbury.
So and it's amazing. It's amazing because I've been a few times and seen some wonderful speakers over the years. It's
well, again, you know this from Uprise and Shine. Also, gathering with other people is crucial. We can all do Zoom stuff, and it's great, and it has its place. But when you're with other people and in a different environment, and Glastonbury is such a special environment anyway, right? For all the touristy side, there is something genuine there. It's different, and that's why I think keeping live gatherings alive is really important because you meet people, you chat with them in the cafes in between, and it's a completely different interaction. When you're on Zoom, the screen goes off, and maybe that's it for the day. But when you've just come out of an auditorium, everyone's talking, and then they go off, and you're buzzing, and they're exchanging ideas, and then growing their own ideas. That is still so important.
Well, to me, it's like, meetings on the golf course, isn't it? Apparently, a lot of big deals are done on the golf course because you're having fun, you're on the same, on the same page, and you're chatting, and things are signed, contracts are signed. And I think it's the same sort of thing. Meeting in the flesh, chatting, having a cup of tea. Hence, I set up the Wise Women, so we have a cup of tea together and just chat about all sorts of wonderful and wacky things.
Talking's important. That's what you do, isn't it? You speak to clients one-to-one, and you're counselling clients in astrology, and they'll come out changed very often. Hopefully, if it's gone well.
Hopefully. What do you see? I mean, with the astrological chart, which I know we just had something really interesting. Because I was watching Steve Judd and a few other astrologers just talking about everything is in the same kind of zone, house or whatever. So what do you see? What do you think we've got to look forward to? On a positive note.
Well, I mean, the big picture, and I always look at the big picture, is the biggest thing going on really is moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius.
Yes.
So the ages are roughly 2,000 plus years. Okay, so you get a crossover period. There's a lot of arguing about when did the age of Aquarius start. Well, I always think it was 2012. You know, the winter solstice.
Yeah, the
There
end of
was
the Mayan calendar.
so many cultures around the world
Yeah.
were predicting big changes, and you can see the incredible changes that they've been with an Aquarian kind of bent to it. You know, because Aquarius, all the signs are either masculine or feminine, but Aquarius is kind of ambidextrous, if you like. So you know, you get gender neutral toilets. You get a lot of the children coming out questioning their gender identity. The whole very, very rapid forward movement of new technology going on. I mean, it's just been incredible.
So that's interesting, isn't it? Because then, despite the agendas, this was probably going to happen anyway. Because that's what what the age of Aquarius is about, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it speaks of.
Yeah.
And each age has its own gods. So in the age of Pisces, we have the three main religions, and with Pisces is represented by Jesus, taking the Christian religion, and the opposite sign, which is Virgo the Virgin, is the Virgin Mary. So with it'll be very fascinating to see what are the new gods for the age of Aquarius, but I imagine it could be either an extraterrestrial kind of force that comes through, especially if it's got the spiritual dimension, or it could be the sort of feeling that we are all God because we're creating mammals in a test tube now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's like,
We're
okay,
playing God,
we're not looking to an
Outside.
external.
Yeah.
Well, in the age of Pisces, it's patriarchal,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that's all changing. It's all, you know, big changes. And when you get such a big change from one to another, there's always a collective anxiety around.
Yeah, of course.
Because this is everything we've known for the last 2,000 plus years, and now we don't know what the future is, what we're going into. So
it comes with trepidation, doesn't it? Excitement, but
exactly.
a little bit of fear thrown in there.
Exactly.
Well, one thing's for sure, in 2,000 years' time, it's going to be unrecognisable from where we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
To be sure.
So you get the big picture, and then of course you get the shorter cycles. But even then, like with Pluto, can spend anything up to 30 years because of its elliptical orbit in one sign. So it's the three outer planets that create the biggest changes and the biggest shifts. And like we've had Neptune in the sign of Pisces for the last, it's 14 years in each sign. So it's been about 13 years. It changes again, goes into Aries, which is a very, very different flavour. But with Neptune rules Pisces, so we'll have things like refugees. That's been very, very much in the news recently, and yes, I mean even things like poetry. Neptune is the non-material world; it's the spiritual side of life. And I, you know, even despite all the technology, there's still an awful lot of people that are interested in the alternative and the spiritual. You're never going to get rid of Neptune.
No,
do you know what
there's
I mean?
always going to be
There's always that lot. But more than anything, in the age of Aquarius, it's to do with escapism. So people will, you know, likely Neptune types, if you like, will escape into virtual reality.
Well, I think especially as everyday reality gets more difficult in this transitional period, and if you haven't got any work, and the majority of people simply will not eventually, that will be a place you can go where things seem to matter again.
Yeah.
But in the end, VR will become indistinguishable from reality. It will be like the Matrix. It's not quite there yet, but it won't be long. and you can live in them. Maybe the decisions you make, it's going to feel more like you're in control of your life. Now, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but on the other hand, that's probably likely to happen. So yeah, I think a lot of people will.
And I think many people kind of want that lifestyle because it's easy. It's no responsibility. You don't have to think, do you? You can just sit in your smart city in your box and do this all day.
Yeah.
On whoever's paying you to do that, the government, I guess, with the systems that they might put in, or maybe they don't want.
Well, somebody's going to have to, or or they just get rid of us all. But
would they do that? Come on, Andrew.
Just print money there.
Well, as some say though, if they got rid of us all, there would be no economy left to support them.
No.
So that's the only thing. And even when you've got loads of robots and AI around, they've still got to have the raw materials. You've got to have something supporting us.
And you have to have that balance, don't you? You have to have the yin yang. You have to have the good, the bad, the light, the dark, always.
And also with power agendas, they need someone to control.
Absolutely.
So I always think that with the depopulation theories, if they got rid of us all, they haven't got anyone to get their claws in. So what would they do? So I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that even suits their needs. But
you never know. And when you talk about the gods that are coming in with the new planets, could AI be our god?
Yes,
it could.
Could be.
We could worship the wow.
Well, there's plenty of theories that we're already living in an AI simulation that was created by AI. I mean, how can you ever prove it? I don't know. But it's interesting.
Maybe when you pop your clogs and you go out, you go wherever we go. Now I get it. Oh, look what they're doing.
Yes.
Interesting. And one other thing, when you said about being created in YouTube, people and babies and stuff like that, when you're saying we're all one, it gives it a different connotation, because everybody's saying we're all one, we're all connected. Yeah. But from what you just said, that didn't you? And in making things in test tubes. Sorry, did I say YouTube?
You did, but I thought it was a very interesting Freudian slip, which is actually very apt.
We're all one on YouTube. Yeah, but they're in test tubes. So we are playing God making people, but then other people saying, well, we're all one. But it's just another different way of thinking. I might have really got you in a muddle there. I know what I'm trying to say. It's just.
Well, we are already creating basic life forms. They're talking about growing any life form you want for any purpose, which could be frightening or wonderful. We are becoming God. So I think that is happening.
And also, didn't Mr. What's his name? Elon Musk. It's Musk, isn't it? I don't call him Tusk. Musk, didn't he do the thing in the brain?
Yes.
Which again sounds good if you are paraplegic, if you think, I want to lift my arm. So there is good in that.
Yes, good in it.
But there might also not be so good. So you've got that balance.
Well, so this is the road to transhumanism, where we become a blend of biology and technology. We've already started down that. And look, my arm's held together with metal. So we're all down there. We've all got bits in our teeth. Yeah, I had a crash years ago.
Oh, okay.
So it's titanium holding that arm together.
Right, yeah.
So, but then you go, well, that's good. And then, well, you know what? I could augment this. And once you get your brain chip, I won't need a screen. I'll get the internet beamed into the retina. Yeah. That's already doable, apparently. And it will become right. So that's all going to happen. The danger, though, is then you're far more open to manipulation. Because all these signals coming into us, who's actually controlling that? Already it's like most people go to Wikipedia for their information. Well, we know that is loaded against the alternative thinking.
Don't do it,
So it could be the same. If you only get your info from the main download thing, you might forget that anything else ever came along. So that's a little bit dangerous. But then you get to the point of, when am I not human? How far do we go down this route before actually we've taken away some core bit of our humanity? Yeah. And I think some people will take that route. There's already people, aren't there, millionaires, wanting to get their consciousness downloaded into a computer. I don't know why, but they seem to think this would be a marvellous thing. Yeah. So then we'll have to really question that, because a lot of people are very worried about the whole transhumanism thing, that is a way we will be controlled. But I think some will do it because they just will do it.
They will do it.
And they'll want to know what happens. Whether it will be good, I think it's not matter. Yes. But all exciting stuff. That is, of course, if the ETs don't turn up and say, and some are speculating this, we've taken that road already, don't do it. Actually, we're going to stop you from even going further down this route.
Because theoretically it has happened, hasn't it? Atlantis and we've evolved so much. We've had a wipeout, or Tartaria, we've had a wipeout. Let's start again.
Although then you're stuck with this. So okay, let's say amazing ETs do turn up. We've given all our power away to them.
Yeah.
have they the right to do that? Let's hope they're genuinely really good. And there'll always be people that won't believe in it or think it's a government scam anyway. But, that will also be the case. But, yeah, it's so powerful, have moved to another realm, and we could easily wind up just being controlled by somebody else, maybe for our own good. But, yeah, some believe that the reason that greys are here now is they are, in effect, biological AI, and they've lost something.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, don't know, if they meet them, they're very soulless, they're cold.
Yes.
And that they're trying to stop us taking that road.
Wow. There we have it. In a
I
nutshell.
see a nice cup of tea discussion. This is what it's like. This is what we talk about.
Well, come round every time you pass by, pop in. Like, is there anything you would like to say to close?
Well, I do have hope for the future, actually, and my hope is in the children.
Yeah.
Because yes, it's not kind of because we've known a different world.
Yes.
A world without technology, so we're projecting onto them how they might struggle. But I think they have a different way of viewing things.
Yes, indigo children or whatever they might be called.
Yeah, but you've got to have faith that they will know and have the enough nous to know how to deal with things. That's my hope. The human spirit
lives on. And they're just talking about the children. So there's a school in Essex called ICU, and they're teaching children, I think between the age of 6 and 12, to use telepathy. So they wear a mind fold, they cover their eyes, and then they can see through that. They can read books and they can draw and they can just have, they're using their eyes, but telepathy.
And
third eyes. So it's being, and it's to them that's normal. And I'm sure in days gone by we probably had those qualities that have been wiped out. And I think that's.
Well, I don't think they have been wiped out. I think they've become latent. So that's very good if they're trying to.
Yes. So it's happening. And to them it's normal. And I have high hopes. I think we're going to be levitating and all sorts of stuff. And who knows? Who knows? Big times.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I think there are positive things, but I think obviously there are very difficult things that we still have to deal with.
Yeah, sure.
And as we were talking about earlier, the thing is, I always say, do what you can, even if it's just one thing. We can't all save the world tomorrow. We can do one thing and say, I'm going to do this that will help things along. But equally, don't get sucked into the point where it eats your soul out. Because, we know people, that wonderful people, incredible things, but they get so depressed and worried by all the challenges that they stop actually functioning positively in the world today. And that's A, sad, and B, it's detrimental. And then, the powers that be have got the upper hand.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't give them that. So you've got to keep smiling, put a cup of tea in your hand and do what you can do. But that's, let's not go down the route just being so much soldiers for truth that we lose our souls along the way.
Absolutely, very
because you can so easily get dehumanised by that. So keep the balance.
Thank you. And I'll put your website on the bottom, if I may, and if you want me to contact you for astrology readings. Yeah,
Helen also does have a website as well.
I'll do that. So thank you so much, and thank you for watching Wise Women Weekday. So please like, subscribe and share, and see you next time.